for it, find it, make it your own. It's the Get Thrifty Podcast.
Hey Thrifties, welcome back to the Get Thrifty Podcast, brought to you by ARC Thrift Stores. ARC Thrift Stores is a nonprofit thrift store chain, and I am your host, Maggie Civic, and we are all about sharing everything that has to do with shopping secondhand. So if you're part of our unique thrift culture, please contact us. We would love to promote your business and your social channels and share your stories and advice with our listeners. As always, you can find ARC on Instagram and YouTube at ARC Thrift. Send us a DM and let's chat. You guys know I love an accent on this podcast. We are so excited to welcome Phillip to the show. Phillip St. Germain is the co-founder of St. Art Philly, a Rhode Island-based brand rooted in craftsmanship, history, we're going to ask all the questions, and the art of making things by hand. Phillip transforms reclaimed materials like vintage denim, worn leather, and salvaged textiles into small batch, often one-of-a-kind hats that carry the story of their past lives. What began as a deeply personal creative practice has evolved into a distinctive voice in slow fashion, honoring imperfection, reuse, and human touch. Through his social presence, you can find him at Can't Top That Hat. He shares both the process and philosophy behind his work. Inspired by New England's maker tradition, Phillip approaches each piece as both a functional object and a quiet work of wearable art, designed to be worn, weathered, and lived in. Phillip, welcome to the show.
Hi, Maggie. I'm very happy to be here.
We're really excited, Phillip. What you're doing is super exciting. Love all the upcycle that you're into, and it's all in resourced materials, which brings us to thrift and is the perfect combination for our little podcast here in Colorado. So let's start with how people find you on socials, send you all their love, follow along, and buy from you.
Okay, well, on socials, on TikTok and Instagram, it's Can't Top That Hat. And on Facebook right now, it's St. Art Philly, Rhode Island, or RI.
And you're easy to find on Etsy too. If people want to find you there, they can, correct?
That is correct. Well, you can also go to the link in my bios, and I have the Etsy shops linked in there.
Very cool. Well, I'm really excited because when we have makers on this podcast, you guys have this rich history, these vibrant communities. And I kind of want to know like the history, how you got here, how this came to be. Give us the origin story of Phillip.
Well, I mean, I've always been a creative person. And over the last few years, I was trying to get into doing something creative on the side that I could actually make some money in. And I started off with, trying different things. I did painting. I made box games called Shut the Box out of cigar boxes, painted some buoys. I would take like an old buoy, old lobster buoy. And then people would ask me to paint, the city or town, or maybe an anniversary or an engagement date. And, was just doing a lot of fun things like that. But I really love hats and I really love working with material. And just, over time, it just kind of settled into being hats more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I made some pocketbooks for a while, but honestly, there's so many people making pocketbooks out there or other kinds of bags that it's really hard to stand out.
It's so fascinating. So is this a full-time gig for you?
It is not. It is part-time right now.
Okay, gotcha. And really, one of the things I love about your content is you do a great job of kind of bringing in the fact that there's this big, vibrant New England maker community and history. Can you kind of tell us more about that? It's fascinating to me.
Well, actually, the textile industry in the United States started in Rhode Island, where I'm from. Actually, it started in Pawtucket, Rhode Island at Slater Mill. That's where I was born and raised. And where I live now, it's a little town called Esmond. And that was also a mill town where a lot of textiles were made, very early in the, New England history, really following right after the American Revolution.
Oh, wow. So
Yes.
a rich history. Yeah. And then there's these makers. It's fascinating. You're part of a larger community.
That's correct. Yes. Yes. So there's a lot of makers in the area. They might not all be doing hats. They could be doing clay. One of the shops in the area does clay, really all kinds of things. There's a lot of local people they'll do like the upcycled jeans or the upcycled jackets, the upcycled hoodies. Really, there's just so much stuff going on that, it's really kind of starting to get a life of its own.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really fascinated to see this particular area, of New England grow and become a part of this, and that you're using these recycled materials. So, can you tell our listeners why it's important to you that your textiles and the things you use are reused? Talk about the sustainability of it all.
Well, I mean, obviously, so much new fashion goes in the trash or it gets burned, and it's just so wasteful. I mean, just the whole idea of fast fashion in places, I'm not sure if I can say their names, places like Sheen, that just really have they don't care about the planet. They don't care about their employees. They don't care that they're polluting and making low quality product. They just want to make money. And one of my main concerns is the ocean, all this trash and plastic going into the ocean. The ocean is the lifeblood of the earth. Anything that we can do to keep trash out of that waste stream is definitely worth doing.
Mhm. It's
You
important.
know, and on another level, it just looks so darn cool. When you can take old material that's it looks like it's been worn, it looks like it's been around for a little while. You could take it and turn it into something new. You're just not going to get that look with new fabric.
Now, some of my show notes say that you were an artist before. Can you walk us through that? Because what you're doing is really a work of art.
Yeah, so I did a lot of painting, a lot of drawing. I did take some art classes when I was much younger. And recently I started getting into painting again, mostly acrylics on canvas, but then some other stuff as well. Tried doing some on some furniture, but that's kind of tricky. So I wasn't really there yet. But it's very wasteful.
Mm.
You're wasting a lot of canvas, you're wasting a lot of paint. The paint all comes in plastic tubes. So, as you paint, you're emptying plastic tubes. They can't be recycled. And I had a problem with that waste stream that I was creating. So then I ended up trying to do some digital artwork, which is fine. And sometimes that's great, but you can't hold it in your hands.
Mhm.
It's not a physical thing that you can touch that you can hand to somebody.
Interesting.
So I decided to start working with textiles and fabrics. And like I said, first it was other things. I still make other things sometimes, but
Mhm.
hats are the majority of it at this point.
Mhm. Now, are you totally self-taught? I noticed you kind of show the process of making these hats. It looks like you're a master sewer. So tell us more.
Well, I'm not a master sewer, and if you ask me to make a blouse or a pair of pants, that's not going to happen. But
Mhm.
I can make hats all day long, and really just practice. Yeah, I guess I'm self-taught, and
Mhm.
YouTube is very handy, and just watching how other people do it, and then trial and error, and trying to improve your technique on a daily basis.
Mhm. And favorite textiles to work with? What are some of the things you're picking up at the thrift store that you're turning into? Because you really have used the gamut. I love that you took the old sail, and made that into
Yeah,
something. Like,
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So actually, the sail material, those are actually scraps from a company that makes sails for sailboats in Bristol, Rhode Island.
wow.
And I reached out to them and asked them if they had scraps that they were willing to give me, and they said, "Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to keep that stuff out of the landfill." So that material, it didn't even cost me anything.
Mm.
And that was actually the first one I've done with that material. It's a little bit harder to work with than I anticipated, but I'll figure it out.
And then I
Uh,
love the denim. Use a lot of distressed denim, so you're saving that from landfill.
yeah. So denim is great, and lots of times when I'll go to the thrift store, I'll look for the largest size I can find
Mhm.
because they're the same price as the small sizes, and you get so much more material out of a size 44 pair of jeans than you would out of a size 28.
Great advice.
Yeah, so I look for that. I look for different colors, pink, red, not as common, but if I can get them, I want to incorporate them into some different hats. Um, I've been very lucky with finding like sample fabric or dead stock. Towels are very good. Anything natural fiber is really the best. So cotton, linen, things along that line. Denim is great. Now I won't shy away from denim if it has spandex in it. I'll still use it. It doesn't really matter to me. Yeah, and
Some
anything that will have the look and we can keep it rolling instead of throwing it away.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty interesting to think that your area, this rich history of makers, and you're doing this like it looks like in your workshop or your garage. Is that the case?
It would be the basement. Yeah.
No, your basement. Okay. But
Yes.
the process of you making these videos is also an art form. You're sharing this philosophy, you're sharing this history. Walk us through that.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to, let people know that, you can do this. So
Yeah.
here's what I'm starting with. I'm starting with, whatever it is, scraps or, some blank material. I might be starting with a towel or a t-shirt. And you can take that. You just got to cut the pattern and sew it together. Will you make mistakes the first time you do it? Of course. But as you do it more and more, you're going to, you're going to get better at it.
Mhm. And what inspired you to go ahead and take this online and create the social pages to support, your Etsy business and all the other things you're doing at pop-up shops and markets around town?
Well, I mean, I kind of love social media. I love being on it.
Okay.
The dopamine hits great, when you get a lot of likes. But, more is like, when somebody will ask me a question, well, how did you do this? Or what did you use for that?
Mhm.
And I know that that person's really interested in the process.
Sure.
So, I really want to demonstrate the process and, this is how it can be done, and then, I mean, I've had social media sites before that did well before I did the, the upcycling. Unfortunately, I got hacked a couple of times. So
Oh,
those ended up, crashing and burning, through no fault of my own. When I started doing this, I knew that I could grow a Facebook following and just decided that that was a good way to get the word out there and meet other makers and get the word out, get people to see different things.
mhm.
It's positive. You can
Absolutely.
you can show it to your kids. I mean, we try to avoid any negativity when we're doing these things.
And I love that through your content, you're telling a story, but you're also doing these fun thrift hauls. So you do
Yeah.
have a love for the thrift store. Tell us more because we are,
Oh, yeah.
first and
Um,
foremost here to promote that.
yeah, no, so that's actually how I got started. I didn't start doing the upcycling so much as I did started doing the thrifting.
Love it.
I think my first really good thrift was a Gucci belt with the double G on it,
Ooh,
and I paid $3 for it and sold it for 75.
wow.
And that was probably one of my first ones. So then I kind of got hooked at that point. And I mean, I've always been kind of a treasure hunter, and it's just you go in there and you're looking around, you find something that's really great, and you get so excited. You're like, I don't even know what this is.
Oh, we do a whole segment called What is This Wednesday on our socials where
Yeah.
we literally try and like have people guess. But that's our favorite thing is like, what is it when you walk down an aisle and you can't identify something? Like, there's so much
Mhm.
fun in that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I've just been so fortunate. I've found so many treasures, that I just love it. I find some really cool things.
Well, tell us about your area. Like, do you have a favorite place you want to shout out that and give them some love? Your favorite treasure hunting spot?
So I have probably more than one.
Yes.
There's a couple of restores in my area,
Mm,
Habitat for Humanity, and I've found some great stuff in those places. They're just always coming up with something new. Salvation Army, I do really well at the Salvation Army. And then there's a lot of small charity type shops, church, thrift stores, and that kind of thing.
mhm,
And there's just a lot of those around too. There's Goodwill, but I don't go to them that often. Sometimes I can find some good hats there,
mhm.
but probably Salvation Army and Restore are my favorites.
So when did you decide you could put it all up on Etsy too? What was the driver there?
Oh, so actually, I was on Etsy first,
Oh,
and I was actually listening to another podcast about Etsy, and there was a woman on there, and she was talking about selling vintage stuff on Etsy,
mm,
and I was like, oh, that sounds good. I didn't know you could do that.
mhm.
So I found out from her, and then I started, posting a few things here and there, and turns out I was doing much better with that than I was with the other stuff.
Yeah.
It's probably still the bulk of my sales is through thrifted items that I resell.
Mhm. And I love your thrift hauls because you kind of show everything. And then you're sort of a historian. Are you self-taught in that area too? Because you'll pick up a bucket and say, oh, this is from the 90s. I'm like, how do you know this?
Oh, it said it right on the
Oh,
tag.
I was all
Well,
impressed. Like this man has
yeah,
a book of knowledge.
yeah. I don't always know. I don't always know, but I mean, I'm very interested in history. I've read a lot of history, but I mean, I'm in New England. I mean, I live in Rhode Island. I work in Massachusetts, and that's some of the oldest parts of the country.
Yeah.
So between Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, a lot of colonial activity, a lot of Puritans and dissidents and Quakers, and
Oh, history. Yes.
and people don't realize how much history there is in Rhode Island. How much of what is current now is a result of what happened here early on.
Hmm.
So
And you can still find these ancient items like in your local
yeah,
thrift stores. Wow.
maybe not ancient. I
Sure.
would love to find some ancient items, but turn of the last century is not uncommon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And my show notes say you have a nostalgic feel for the 70s aesthetic. Why is that?
Oh, because that's when I grew up.
Oh, okay.
I was born in the 60s, but really I grew up in the 70s, and
Sure.
great 70s music, and the hippie culture, and
Hmm.
all the colors. I mean, things were so colorful back then.
Oh, yeah.
Now
I
everything's
love.
now everything's beige.
Mhm. So true. And the neutrals, everyone's like matching. And yeah, absolutely. What about these Irish inspired prints? Are you an Irishman?
No, I'm not Irish, but my wife's Irish.
Okay.
Um, but I just, I have a love for not just American history, but also Irish history and English history. Hmm.
I mean, you do a good job of kind of incorporating that into your content so that
Yeah.
people. Do you film your own content? Does your wife help you? How do you do your time
No,
lapse
I
and everything?
just do it on like a tripod.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The other thing too is that Irish history is very prevalent in this area. A
Hmm.
lot of Irish people, Irish American, Irish descent. So it's very. It's not like it's across the ocean. It's like right here.
Hmm.
I mean, St. Patrick's Day around here is just nuts.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, lots of parades and everything.
What about yard sale season? Is it big
Um,
there?
it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
It's not great, but it's not terrible. I find some stuff sometimes, but
Now, if you had to compare your selling strategy, like across the eBays versus Etsy or the in person, what do you prefer the most?
well, Etsy's my favorite.
Okay.
It might be because I've been using Etsy the longest.
Mhm.
Um, so I've been on Etsy 3 years now, but I think I started eBay maybe a year ago. So I haven't been on there as long, but yeah, it takes time. You got to build up a reputation. You got to get those good reviews.
Mhm. It does take time, but I can imagine it's kind of fun to do the in person stuff too. In those smaller states, you guys have these vibrant communities of makers that stick by each other and support one
Mhm.
another. Walk us through a little bit of that because I think people listening to this podcast, they're making their summer plans right now. Where should we go? They're looking for those fun pop-up markets. Is Rhode Island a
Okay.
place for that or your neighboring states?
Actually, all over,
Mhm.
whether it's Rhode Island, Massachusetts, or Connecticut, they all have, some very vibrant, artisan, communities, artisan markets, and there's really no lack of them.
Mm,
Um, I haven't really done a ton of them. I've done a few. This year, I'll be doing more.
mhm.
So, in Providence, there's the Artisans Market, and that's an outdoor market that runs from May through October.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'll be doing that, and there'll be a ton of makers there, and it's adjacent to a farmers market.
Oh, always good.
Yeah, at the Water Fire Center, they have frequent artisan markets there as well. Little towns in Connecticut like Mystic or
Mm,
Stonington Borough, they're always having stuff like that. A lot of the small towns in Massachusetts. If you want vintage and antique, Brimfield is like the biggest.
mm. See, I love interviewing people from different parts. We haven't had a lot of New Englanders on here, so we'll make note of all of this. We're kind of working on a nationwide map of fun things like this. Do you source Rhode Island so small you get to touch? Yeah, I'm sure it's only a few miles to get to other states, right? Is that kind of how it works there?
Yeah, well, so I live in Rhode Island, but my job is in Massachusetts, so I travel to Massachusetts, every day during the week as it is.
Mhm.
So at lunchtime, I get the opportunity to stop into some thrift shops
At
when
lunchtime.
I'm
I
on
love
my
that.
routes. Yeah. Um, And then Connecticut's, probably 30 minutes away to the
Oh,
Connecticut
wow.
line.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
And they have some great thrifting there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you travel to source then specifically, or is it just kind of like if it's on my route, I can stop and grab it?
I will travel to some extent, but not too far. I'll go out of my way to go maybe visit something that I haven't been to before.
Okay.
And then sometimes they're great and you want to go back, and then other times maybe they're not as good, but and then it's also hit or miss.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah. So, you could go one day and they don't have much, and you can go the next time and they have so much.
So as you're relatively new to this with eBay, what have you learned? What would you say is like your biggest learning thing that you could possibly save one of our listeners from having to experience in terms of like trial and error and getting started in this business?
Be careful how big a item you buy.
Oh,
Yeah. Make sure that you can ship it and ship it safely.
the
Um,
problems of shipping. Yep.
yeah, I had a beautiful set of Sears and Roebuck canisters that I bought, and a customer in Texas bought them, and when they got there, one of them was smashed.
Mm,
So and I thought I packed the heck out of it too.
mhm.
And the real heartbreaking thing is that you just never see a set of four.
Oh,
You
yeah.
usually see three, but you never see four. So it was actually a complete set of four.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
Yeah.
Yep, you gotta make sure that you can ship it. If you're shipping something, ceramic, something that could be broken,
Mhm.
double box it. So that's small enough where I can put it in a box and then put it in another box.
Oh, that's a good. Yeah.
Yeah, double box it if you can.
Mm.
Because I shipped some stuff and I thought, there's no way this is going to get broken, and it did.
Yeah, it happens. I
Yeah.
said we had somebody on the podcast, sorry to the $1 million peddlers. I sent them like a coffee mug from Arc. They unboxed it on their show live and it was broken. I was like, clearly
No.
I am not the shipper, We don't ship anything at Arc. It's like only brick and mortar, but I learned
Yeah.
so many packing tips from people like you that are like doing it right and making the
Mhm.
mistakes. What about challenges you've experienced with the social media of it all? And engaging with comments and answering questions of people. What advice would you have for our listeners on that?
I got to tell you, I am so surprised that with my current iteration of the social media, the negativity has been very, very limited.
Oh, good.
Yeah, most of it is that if I'll take a video and I'll break it up into pieces, people will get mad because they have to watch more than one video to see the end product.
Mhm.
But that's probably the biggest complaint.
Interesting. They just
Yeah,
want more content.
yeah, they just want more content. They want to see what I made, which makes sense because I was listening to somebody recently and they're saying that people want to see the transition.
Yeah.
They want to see that pile of scraps turn into something beautiful.
Yeah.
So they want to see both ends of it.
Yeah.
So I kind of maybe they had a point when they complained about that.
Yeah. Yeah. And they do want to see that final product and not have to scroll to the next video to see it. So that's
Mhm.
totally true. And your process is like sped up so you can watch it. By the way, I love it that your commenters love the ironing. They're really big into the ironing. Is
I
that
don't
funny? Did that
understand that.
surprise you?
Yes, because I have one ironing video that had 500,000 views.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is it about this? I
Yeah.
mean,
It's
literally, I'm just ironing, interfacing onto the fabric.
yeah, but it's so interesting. People love it because I think it's like again that final product. Like there's something really satisfying about seeing it all done at the end.
Yeah. Well, I think that people are really craving real,
Mhm.
and there's so much AI out there. And I'm not knocking AI because I use it, but people just want to see real people doing real things.
Mhm. And
I think,
ironing is one of those things. It's kind of we were just talking in another podcast yesterday, tailoring and mending is finally coming back and ironing
big
is
time.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, big time. Yeah. That was one of the complaints I got. I had some people complaining because I wasn't ironing, because I was sewing things together. And they're like, well, you're never going to get that flat if you don't iron it. So I
Brought
think
out the iron.
yeah. One of the other things too that I was surprised by is that Instagram and Facebook tell you to keep your videos to 3 minutes or less. But I would say that that's not the hard and fast rule, because I have ones that go 4 minutes or longer and they get just as many views. Don't be afraid to go a little longer.
Great advice. Yeah, they are saying that long form video is coming back. And
Mhm.
can you point to, I'd be curious about this. Is there like that video you can point to that really blew up for you that you were really shocked by?
I mean, this would go back a little ways. I mean, probably one of my first posts that I did that really blew up was it was about Bigfoot. It was about a Bigfoot, walking into the guy's campground and taking a beer out of the guy's cooler.
I have to know more. I love Bigfoot. I love any
Hmm.
kind of story like that. So, and I do love you do a good job of sharing local things. Someone's lost, someone's looking for their cat. I love that
Oh
you're
yeah.
such a community guy, by the way. That's amazing. But Bigfoot,
Okay.
tell me more. Tell me more.
Oh, so Bigfoot walks into the guy's campground, takes a beer out of his cooler, starts drinking it, looks at the guy and says, "Nobody will ever believe you."
That was the post that blew up.
That was my first post that blew up, went crazy.
It really is fascinating. Did you ever in a million years think that this would be, a little bit more than a hobby? Did that ever occur to you when you started this?
Yeah, because I mean, at that time I was trying to sell like Bigfoot merchandise. So I was trying to sell Bigfoot T-shirts and stuff like that. It didn't
Sure.
work out, but it got me started. On this, I mean, I think really just the I'm trying to think of what the first one was that really took off, but I can't really even remember. They all kind of blur together. That did all the videos are very similar.
Mhm,
It's a video of me taking material and making something out of it.
mhm,
It really surprised me that the ironing videos do so well. But
mhm. People like it. They get really serious about the ironing.
yeah,
It's fun that you can do this, that you have this creative outlet. As an artist, this must be really important to you. Is it rewarding? Is it satisfying? Are you enjoying it?
yeah. Actually, not only am I enjoying it and it's satisfying, if I don't do it for a while, I feel it.
Mm,
Like, I don't feel myself if I say go a week without like making something.
mhm.
I start to feel like a little off. Like I have to create something. I have to scratch that creative itch.
Totally get it.
So I wanted to at least show you one hat. So
Please.
so this was a pillowcase.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it's Spider-Man.
I mean, so cool. And these cats are flying off the shelf. I mean, people are buying these. This is like the hottest thing is a bucket hat right now.
Yeah, people love bucket hats. No,
Oh
but
yeah.
I do some other types too.
Tell us
But
more. What other kind of hats are you making?
so this one is more of a Western style hat.
So cool. And
Yep.
you've done wizard hats and golf
Yes.
hats.
Yes. I guess I have. I don't have any nearby over here.
Well,
Um,
hopefully you're selling them all. That's why you don't have them,
yeah, the wizard hats I just started. I did a witch hat and a wizard hat. I really just started with those. But I mean, obviously that's more of an October kind of thing, more towards the fall. People will be more interested in
Sure.
that. So right now I'm really concentrating on the bucket hats, for beaches and
Mm-hmm.
gardening and that type of thing.
And the Renaissance fairs are coming up. I'm like picturing those wizard hats going for the cosplay gals that are, out there all summer long doing the Renaissance fairs. You guys have those in Rhode Island as well?
Not in Rhode Island, but there's a big one in Massachusetts.
It's got to
Yeah.
be with the Salem witch trials. I'm sure Massachusetts is huge for that kind of cosplay.
Yeah, I think it's pretty big. There are some conventions, for the cosplay that is more of like Comic-Con.
Wow.
Yeah. So Rhode Island Comic-Con is really a big deal. That's one of the big ones in the country. They have King Richard's Fair in Carver, Massachusetts in the fall. But Salem, you don't want to go to Salem in October.
Is it crazy?
Oh, the traffic is just horrible. It's horrible. Yeah. Unless you got a scooter or something, you can't get anywhere.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. What about I have to ask about this. I have a note from my producer because my husband and I love a brewery. I've heard that New England area for breweries is just amazing. Tell me, is it?
Yeah. There's actually quite a few. There's so many, you can't even count them all.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, they have like brewery tours. So like, you get on a bus and you go from brewery to brewery.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So is it okay to thrift a gift? Your thoughts on this?
So that depends on the recipient, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I'm out thrifting, I'll thrift gifts for my customers. Because when I send them something, I like to put a little something extra in the
Ooh, I
bag.
love this.
Yeah, so if I can find really cool things while I'm out thrifting that are, maybe around $1, sometimes even less, that's a great to throw in there, especially if it matches what they're buying,
Hmm.
you know? So in that case, yes, I mean, I know some people that they would absolutely be thrilled to get something that's thrifted. And I know people that, might not quite understand.
Good advice. Be careful.
And they'll think you're being cheap and, they won't understand that, it took a lot of effort and time to pick that out for them.
Mhm. Absolutely. Can you share
But
with us,
you,
like, is there, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but you can thrift me a gift anytime. I love it.
That's how I feel too, especially when it's something that I'm into or collect, I'm like, oh, bring it on. Can you point to like the coolest thing? And I've noticed on your Etsy page that you do sell like cool trinkets with lots of history. Do you have
Mhm.
that one thing that like you're most proud of, whether it was a sourced material or an item, the coolest thing you've ever found secondhand?
The coolest thing I ever found was a little Ziploc bag, and it had 2 fire department badges in it
Mm.
and a newspaper clipping
Oh, wow.
of a fire. So I'm assuming that because there's like maybe 3 firefighters mentioned in the article. So I'm assuming that those badges belong to one of those 3 firemen.
And that was just for sale on a shelf?
Yes, just sitting on a shelf in a Ziploc
Wow.
bag, in a little basket with the other trinkets and stuff. And I think I paid $4 for it.
Wild.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Mm.
And, I it went in probably about 3 days.
Oh, you resold it. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
did. I
good
resold it,
story.
and it went to a town that was right next to, the town where they came from. So it might be
Somebody
somebody
knew.
that knew them or,
Yeah. Very cool. What about the item you want to put out in the universe, like manifest the next time you're out thrifting?
if I could find like a genuine cool captain's hat, that belonged to an actual, ship's captain,
Oh, I love that.
that would be great. Or any older military hat would be great. But really, I have a love for the sea and nautical things. The captain's hat would be top notch.
Yeah. Do you find a lot of that kind of maritime type nostalgic stuff?
I do find maritime stuff. Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, because we're very close to the ocean, and we have quite the maritime history in New England.
Mhm.
Um, I get like weather vanes or what do they call those little figurines that might be like of sailors or different things like that.
It's really fascinating. That New England history is just so rich. Here in Colorado, we're more known for like our Western wear, that kind of
Mhm.
thing. But that,
Which is very
ocean,
cool too. I
yeah,
love the Western aesthetic, and
it's
the
fascinating.
the whole cowboy thing is just really blowing up right now.
Mhm. Yeah, what was really hitting us hard too is and it's so weird we haven't had much of a winter. You guys have had a big winter.
We did finally, yes.
Yeah, we haven't yet. We were supposed to snow today, and I'm like, is this a joke? It's going to be 70 by Sunday. Colorado is just, we like to say, Colorado, hold my beer because we don't know what's going to happen next. Such bipolar weather.
Yeah,
But this year it's been this rush on fur coats. Have you seen this yet? This
yes,
rise in interest. The East
yep,
Coast must be feeling it even more.
yes, yeah. Well, actually, I mean, so this past winter we got hit pretty hard, but
Mhm.
we haven't had a bad winter in probably 6 years prior to
Oh,
this year.
wow.
But
Interesting.
this year we got a ton of snow. We had one storm that dumped 3 feet. But yeah, the faux fur more than the real fur for
Interesting.
some reason. Yeah,
Mhm.
yep. In
Yeah.
fact, I mean, I took a leather coat that I had and I cropped it, and I got faux fur for the cuffs and for the collar.
Yeah.
I added them on. But yeah, I've had some luck selling some faux fur coats.
Mhm. It's huge right now. I don't know what it is. What about other trends that you're seeing that, are important and I have some of my show notes say, don't follow the trends. What are your thoughts on trends?
My thoughts on trends is that if you're trying to follow the trend, you're probably too late.
Mm, good
So try
advice.
to try to figure out what's going to be popular or just starting to get popular. It's going to be popular in a little while. Tapestry, I think, is something
Mm,
that's gonna you're gonna see a lot of. I've had very good luck with tapestry on hats and tapestry on bags.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm making a note of that. Tapestries coming back. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty fascinating right now. I'm wondering what's gonna, and who would have thought that, and this is a question for you. Thrifting. Are you surprised that young people finding this and being cool with secondhand? What do you think changed in our society that it's cool again?
I'm not sure what changed, but I definitely have seen the change.
Mhm.
At first, I was very surprised because I'd go into a thrift store and you'd see these young kids coming in
Mhm.
and they're buying stuff, and you probably expect that with girls, right?
Yeah.
No, I see guys.
Yeah.
I see young men coming in and thrifting,
I
and they're
love that.
talking and they're talking amongst themselves, and they're excited about what they're finding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
It gives me hope. It gives me hope that our business will last forever and that we're not going to this isn't just a flash in the pan. And,
mhm,
hopefully people will it'll continue to grow infinitely. And makers like you are going to keep that in front of people on social media and make it cool.
mhm.
So
You
hopefully.
know, I mean, it could be that kind of like the luxury resale market kind of started it. The places like
Interesting.
Macari where, you take your luxury stuff that you don't want anymore and you resell
Mhm.
it.
Yep.
It kind of got them in the habit of reselling things. So
Mhm.
it's very common now. You have all these sites where, people can resell their clothes so they can buy more clothes. So buying secondhand is really not foreign to them at this point.
Yeah, it's
You
not
know,
weird. It's just part of the norm. Do
it's
you
part
have a
of the fun.
COVID story? Speaking of that, do you have what were you doing during COVID? I always like to ask people their COVID story because everyone seems to have one in resell.
I don't have a resale COVID story because I wasn't actually selling online at that point.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
really new for you.
I can tell you a fun story about COVID, but it has
Yeah.
nothing to do with reselling.
Well, now I'm interested. What is it?
Um, so when COVID first happened, right? And everybody's stuck at home. I'm working from home. They want me to call my customers. I'm like, call my customers. What am I gonna say to them? They don't
Yeah.
they don't want to buy anything. So I started calling my customers and telling them that my dog was really mad about COVID.
Mm.
And they're like, what do you mean your dog's mad? I said, I can't take him to the dog party. He's all pissed off. So I said, so, I went on Amazon and I bought a dog suit and I dressed up as a dog so I could play with him.
I'm sure they're like, okay.
And then one of my customers called me back. He says, oh, so how's your dog? I was like, oh, I don't have a dog.
Ah,
I really was just doing it to try to cheer people up.
yeah. And people needed it during that time.
Yeah. And then when they did let us start going back out on the road, I bought a cape, like a, superhero cape.
Superman. Yes.
I figured if I have to wear a mask, I might as well wear a cape.
That's a cute idea. Did it work?
Yeah. Yeah. People
That's
loved it.
So why did you decide to get on social media and start doing the reselling then? What was the spark that lit that for you?
I just, corporate, I work for corporate America, and working for corporate America can be kind of soul sucking sometimes.
Mm,
When I first started doing this, I mean, the job I had, I loved it. I mean, I really loved it. And I really loved the people that I worked with. And I just saw it deteriorating and nobody cared. I mean, the people on the front lines cared, but, the corporate people just didn't care,
mm,
and it really just kind of broke my heart.
yeah.
And I said, I need to find something else to do so that I'm not doing this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So,
And have you found that community in these makers and these thrifters and people that are part of this sustainability movement?
absolutely, absolutely. So on Facebook, we actually have a group. It's called Upcycled Threads. So I started that maybe about a year ago, and I think we're up to 26,000 members right now.
Wow.
And there's you get some people that just like to watch, but there's a lot of makers on there, and they like to share what they're doing, share their process, give you tips and show you, how you can do one thing or another. I mean, maybe you're having trouble with a particular thing, and then they come along and they say, well, try and do it this way. And when you ask people questions, everybody's so happy to answer
Hmm.
and give you the benefit of their wisdom.
Yeah. I mean, this couldn't be a more perfect way to end my Friday. I got to tell you, Philip, you're giving me joy here. Upcycled threads. I'd love to
Yeah.
just be a voyeur on that group just to see what you guys are chatting about because you're absolutely right. Sometimes,
Yeah, you can join.
all right, look for my invitation now. Do people go onto the Facebook page and like ask to join and they have to fill out some questions or how does that work?
Well, there's no questions. You have to ask to join and we have to approve you, but
And that's it.
just trying to, keep the robo
Oh,
account.
the
That's all.
bots out. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Well, I love what you're doing, Philip. I hope you'll keep it up and I hope you'll keep us, informed of what's next. And is there
Okay.
any big project on the horizon? Anything we should look forward to as we kind of follow your content?
Well, so right now I'm really just trying to get the production going for the sales this spring and summer, and trying to do a lot of the patchwork material because that takes a little bit more work. Eventually, I would like to get it to the point where I could have a shop and we could actually do some more robust production
Gotcha.
where
Are
we could
you
take.
open to custom asks too if someone has something special they need done? Are you open
Oh
to
yeah,
the
absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Yes, I just had a customer in Oklahoma. He sent me some velvet bags, and his fishing lures and his fishing reels and stuff come in bags,
Yeah,
and he wanted me to turn them into a hat. So he
love
sent
it.
me enough material to do one for him and one for his buddy.
So they can have them on their fishing trips. I love this.
Yeah, yeah, and it's got the logo of the company that they use, so
Mhm.
so they like that. He might be getting those today. I don't know if they arrived yet. I shipped them out on Monday.
Very cool. Okay, so
Yeah,
he's open to the custom ask, guys. Don't feel weird reaching out. Reach out to Philip and ask for those specific things. Anybody we should be following on social media that really inspires you?
yeah, I got a couple of people. So Home Junkie,
Ooh, what a great name.
yeah, she is out of the UK.
Oh, cool.
Her name is Luba Dubil, Dubil, but she just goes under Home Junkie,
Home junkie. Love it.
and she makes mostly pocketbooks,
Oh,
but her work is really outstanding, and she ships worldwide.
okay.
Yeah,
I love it. These makers just blow my
yeah.
mind.
Another guy is Wandy the Maker,
Ooh,
Wandy, Wandy the Maker. He's been around for a while. He makes a lot of like hoodies and jackets. He makes pants. He does hats on occasion, but he does some really cool stuff.
do you think that these homemade things like are going to become more prevalent? I keep watching like the fashion runways and this stuff seems to be showing up there.
Yes, you're right. There was a designer recently, and I forget which one it was. It might have been Louis Vuitton, and what they did is they went into their vault, I guess you would say,
Mhm.
and they pulled out a bunch of dead stock, and they used that for one of their current shows.
So cool.
Yeah, and yeah, I think you're going to see more and more of it. There are some places where they'll have fashion shows, and the fashion shows are with all upcycled materials. There's actually going to be one in Rhode Island. I don't think they had it yet, but it's going to be in Westerly where they're doing one of those. And where it's really big is surprising is New Zealand.
Hmm. Interesting.
New Zealand is very big into upcycling, probably because it's so hard for them to get new stuff.
Sure. Why not
Yeah,
reuse? Have
yeah,
to
New
look into
Zealand,
this.
Australia too, but New Zealand's got a very robust maker program where they will upcycle things.
I feel like it's a worldwide movement and there's no danger of it going away anytime soon.
No, I think it's on the rise.
Yeah. Well, we always say that this podcast is devoted to normalizing the idea that it's okay to buy secondhand and from makers, but it's people like you that are living out loud that are going to be an asset to our industry for years to come. So thank you for your service to this industry. We are beyond grateful for your artwork and, your dedication to sharing it on your content. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you for having me, Maggie. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
It's a lot of fun. I love meeting new people. Your accent is a delight. Um, as we I'm sorry to call it out so many times, but I just love it. Your accent just makes me so happy. I personally am a California girl originally, so we didn't have accents. The first time I heard an accent was when I moved to Colorado, and it was a Minnesota accent. And I was like, oh,
Okay.
I was obsessed. So
Yeah.
with this podcast, I get to meet all sorts of people like you with these great accents, and it shows how just rich of a culture our, and I love it that it all comes back to secondhand and our culture and community that we've kind of all created here in different facets. It's pretty
Yeah.
great. So thank you for that. And we love to give a shout out to my personal inspiration, one Miss Dolly Parton. How do New Englanders feel about the Queen herself, Dolly Rebecca Parton?
I can't speak for all New Englanders, but I love Dolly Parton.
Yes.
And I would think for the most part, people up here really love her. We've actually got a pretty robust country music scene up here.
Ooh, tell me
Yeah.
more.
Well, I mean, it's very popular up here. There's been some people from this area that have done well on the charts. Billy Gilman comes to mind. That was quite a while ago. He was like a child star.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. But he was on the charts when he was like a teenager.
And as a child of the 70s, your memories of Dolly may be like, the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas was out that.
Oh, yeah,
one.
yeah,
Remember that movie?
yeah. I do remember that movie. She played opposite Burt Reynolds.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, she did a great job in that movie. And that's where the song I Will Always Love You came from.
Yes.
Yeah, which ended up being Whitney Houston's big hit.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
That's a great memory.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I appreciate you playing along with Dolly Parton.
Oh no, Dolly's awesome. You ever see those memes where it says, if you could sit on this bench and talk to somebody for an hour, who would it be? I would pick Dolly.
Oh, wow. Phillip, you make my Friday. Thank you for that. That's amazing. You're an absolute delight. Tell our listeners once again how they find you, follow you, and buy a hat from you.
Okay, so the best place to find me is on Instagram at Can't Top That Hat. And you can go to my link tree, and you can go to my my website or my Etsy pages, and you can find us there.
Easy.
Or you can always DM me.
Perfect. Can't top that hat, guys. Make sure you're tuning in and check out his content. It's a lot of ASMR with the ironing. I'm telling you guys, you don't want to miss it. Thanks, Phillip. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Maggie.
And Thrifties, thanks so much for tuning in once again to the Get Thrifty podcast. Reminder, save our pod and leave us a 5-star review about how funny, creative, and smart we are. And if you're part of this unique thrift culture and you'd like to be on this podcast, you can reach me on Instagram at Podcast with Maggie. And as always, please follow ARC on Instagram and YouTube at ARC Thrift. And now on TikTok at ARC Thrift Stores. Thanks so much and have a wonderful week.
Hunt for it, find it, make it your own. It's the Get Thrifty Podcast.